I remember Lil Wayne stomping all over the American flag. Saying he didn't do it on purpose.
That's bullshit.
Right.
That's bullshit.
That's what I was thinking, because that's what I was trying to say yesterday.
Of course it's bullshit. He's got scared.
But if he's shot from the waist up, and the flag falls, and you just see what's behind the flag, like, he may not have been stomping the flag.
It doesn't matter if it's on camera or off camera. The basic fact is, if this is the type of thing that bothers you, seeing the American flag being, desecrated, that it doesn't matter if it's on video or not. The fact of the matter is,
but he didn't do it as the statement that people think he did. Like, whether it's unpatriotic or not, you could still argue that, definitely, because he did it. But he wasn't making the statement, hey, look at me, I'm stomping on the flag.
Video. But
yeah, I mean, you listen to the words of the song, though.
Yeah,
it goes with the song.
It does go with the song.
What is he talking about? I think he did it in such a way where he could explain his way out of it. Like, look, I didn't do that on purpose. The flag happened to fall, and I was singing and doing my thing.
Does he seem like the type that would lie, though? Like, here's why. Because he
probably got a little scared.
He didn't give a fuck. During a lawsuit, he doesn't care.
Did you see that deposition video? Remember that?
Fuck.
He doesn't give a fuck, Lil Wayne.
He really doesn't care, man.
He did a year in Rikers.
So it's a coincidence that he's stomping on or dancing on the flag.
Quite drunk, not paying attention.
Yeah, he's probably on purple drinking.
But the song itself is controversial about America. And then he's also stepping all over the flag, and now he's trying to say he didn't do it on purpose. I'm suspicious. I don't know what the motive is there to lie.
Yeah. I don't think he respects the, the country and its symbolisms and
that's possible.
All that.
And the song sucks.
That's horrible.
It's horrendous. That's why I was laughing yesterday.
Yeah.
Some asshole on Twitter was trying to, start something. Oh, Oprah's laughing at the Lil Wayne stomping on the flag thing. No, I was laughing at Lil Wayne because he looked like a fool.
He looked like a jerk is what he looked like. A big jerk.
And the song was awful. The whole thing was laughable.
The guys out there were twittering, you support him, stop him? Yes. 100%. Even though I don't agree with it, he has every right to do it.
People get confused by that.
All these fake patriots out there.
Yeah. If you're a patriot, you got to support that.
Yes.
Just don't buy the album.
It doesn't mean you're happy about it, but people get confused.
And it does send a message as to how he feels about, the country and its symbolisms and I think it does send a message like that.
But I feel I'm tired of everybody lumping veterans into everything because that's a fake way.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you're disrespecting veterans. Like, every time you say something about the country you don't like, it doesn't mean you're disrespecting veterans.
Yeah, I know, that is
veterans are probably the most respected group, and justifiably so, and the country should have been fucking nicer to them after Vietnam. But just because if you have a problem with a lot of the things America has done, it doesn't mean you don't respect veterans that fought and died. If you have, I have issues with America, where the flag annoys me sometimes, not because of the government even, because of the people in it, because of this fucking fake free speech and free thought thing that we think we have and we don't.
We don't.
And it's not about the awful government or the soldiers. It's us. It's the public. Letting each other swing by the neck for saying unpopular things, and yet, boy, you violate our privacy, and we cry like little fucking babies. So I have my issues where I don't mind seeing the flag fucking stamped, because, again, it's the fucking phony Americans. The troops are like the last group I'm irritated with. Not at all.
But look, he's walking all over the flag. He's completely aware he's walking all over the flag. But he's making it look like it might have been by accident.
And even the basic principle of what they're doing here, like there's people up on a ladder, they were holding the flag, and they want the flag to drop and reveal a bunch of fucking people that are probably on welfare.
Right.
So the flag fall, just to set it up, no one looked and said, hey, by the way, when you let go of that top of the flag, it's going to go on the ground, and that's not really how the flag is supposed to be treated.
I don't think he cares that he's walking on it.
Yeah. Of course.
But
they don't care that they dropped it on the ground.
Right.
They don't care that they're walking on it.
They're treating it like a piece of set decoration.
Right, exactly. Thank you. That's it.
Right, but
it's not like he was walking on it as, like, look at my video, I'm walking on the flag.
Nah, he's doing it on purpose.
Okay. I hear what you're saying.
But he's doing it on purpose. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Well,
he should be brave enough to actually stomp the fuck out of the flag.
He didn't put this video out.
Yeah, it's not for him.
This is just some cell phone
Of course it's cell phone, because it's in fucking portrait mode.
But he knows.
Stupid bastards.
You know what you're standing on.
Yeah, but like I said, it could have been any piece of fabric that he was standing on.
I don't think he's doing it on purpose, because I don't think he even gives a shit enough to do it on purpose.
Exactly.
He's just like, hey, it's there, it's behind me, now it's not, and I still have to do my shit. I'm stepping on it, I don't even know I'm stepping on it.
Right.
But that in itself is
disrespectful.
It's disrespectful.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
I don't know.
Yes. And they're all looking at him walking on the flag that represents the country that's paying every dime of their fucking food and shelter and everything else. He's leeches!
But he's not a dumb guy.
No.
He knows he's walking all over that flag.
I don't think he does.
And I don't think he's looking at like just a set decoration. You're definitely aware when American flags are around you.
Not him, and not these people. I don't think they give a shit.
Well, how about this? Instead of all the fucking everyone crying about him stepping on the flag, if people really care about the country and what it stands for, how about the next time somebody gets in trouble for saying something unpopular, all you people out there listening, how about you, I don't mean our fans necessarily, but how about you people defend somebody who says something shitty that you disagree with?
Right.
How about that, all the fake patriots out there crying about the flag being stepped on, which is really a piece of cloth, but what it symbolizes, nobody fucking sticks up for anymore.
Exactly. That's...
the flag! Get off the flag! Meanwhile, somebody's fired for saying a racial joke.
Right.
God, he should be fired. That was rude.
Of course.
Where's what it
complete
symbolizes?
Hypocrisy.
It is complete hypocrisy.
Complete. And by the way, I'm looking at the video again. At one point, he looks right down at the flag as he's walking.
Yeah, I mean,
he doesn't look at it like somebody who respects the flag would look at it. So he's just he's looking at it. He's aware he's on it, but I don't think he cares about any.
Right.
You know.
What that means?
Yeah. He's not doing it to be shocking. He doesn't even realize.
He doesn't even realize.
It's nothing to him.
But the same people upset about this that'll be on the news complaining about it are the same ones that would call somebody to task for an inappropriate tweet. Or the same, you know what I mean? It's like they cry about the symbol, but they fucking never stand up for what it's supposed to symbolize. That drives me nuts.
Yeah, the threads are more important to those people than what it symbolizes.
Yes.
Right.
The symbolizing of the American flag, they'll throw away every right and every other fucking freedom that we have, but don't fuck up the white stripe with your footprint and the threads that hold the stars on it, things like that. It really is a dumb thing. They don't realize what they're defending.
That's what drives me crazy. And I don't like stomping the American flag.
I think first of all, it's probably the hackiest anti-government thing you could do. Whoa, look, he's burning a flag. Whoa! Like, really?
I wouldn't do it, and I don't like when people do it, but it's like it doesn't change 1 ounce of how I feel about the country or how I feel about veterans or soldiers. None of that my thinking is affected by somebody making if they make an anti-government statement.
No consideration was taken from when they even planned this to have the flag treated respectfully.
Right.
And that's the biggest problem. Not him trotting upon it, because he doesn't even know. That could be a fucking white sheet that was up there, and he would have looked at it the same way, stepped on it the same way.
We got to go to this guy. He's in the Army there.
He's
John.
in the Army now.
John,
Morning, boys.
Hi, John. What branch are you in?
I'm Army National Guard right now. I used to be active Air Force.
Okay.
And my view on this, there shouldn't be any argument. It's the dude's First Amendment rights. And in my opinion, and this goes with, and will love this because it goes with gun control, it goes with everything.
Ooh.
In my opinion, the most important right for me to stand up for is the one that I most vehemently disagree with. Because if I can't stand up for your rights, whether I agree with them or not, I can't expect anybody to stand up for mine.
Yeah.
And that's what pisses me off. So many people sit there and want to silence somebody. Okay, so maybe he's going to lose some record sales. Big deal. Don't make an excuse for what you did. Stand up for your damn self.
Well, the people will, like you said, they want their rights respected. With having no respect for other people's rights. Exactly. They'll silence someone. If there's something somebody's saying offends them, they want them fired, they want them silenced, yet they'll turn around and preach about what rights we have and how free we are in this country, and they're a bunch of hypocritical fuckwads.
That's why this little Wayne thing, thank you for that call. I mean, it's nice to hear somebody in the military say that. That doesn't bother me at all.
Thank you, sir. We got to go on to this guy. Jim, go ahead.
I'm right here.
Hey, veteran of the military, proud American, but I gotta disagree with you there, Jimmy.
Okay.
Because you have the freedom of speech means that you could say whatever you want. You're not going to get arrested. You go in many other countries and you say things, you're going to be thrown in a jail.
Yes.
Now, if somebody everybody has the right. You have the freedom of speech, but you also have the freedom. Everybody else has the freedom to take responsibility and take action on that also.
But let me ask you a question, Jim. Jim, hold on. I'm going to let you finish. I just want to just discuss it with you. When people say take responsibility, it's like I personally would never want you or anybody else penalized for expressing something, like whatever it was. I mean, again, if you're making people riot, that's one thing. But free speech is not just about getting arrested. And you know that. When you ask the average American free speech, I know what the Constitution says, but we think of free speech as the ability to say and express ourselves without penalty.
It's not prosecution, it's persecution. So you don't necessarily have to be thrown in jail for it, but persecution for your ideology and what you're saying can include being fired, having your livelihood, your house taken away, being shunned. Things like that are also included. It's not just being arrested.
Well, you can say that. You can say whatever you want. You can say, say an off-color joke and do it. But you got to take the responsibility that comes with it. Now, if it's not an acceptable thing by majority of the people, you're not going to get thrown in jail, but you may lose your job for it.
Okay.
But you may be able to find another group that enjoys it, and they'll hire you.
But
that's the idea. That's the idea. That's the beauty of XM, right?
But I'm saying
that's how the world is running right now.
Jim, hold on, one thing at a time. Because
we just wish people would stand up and protect, especially creative people more.
Yeah, you're saying like if the majority of people don't like it, then you'll be fired. Oh, that's kind of the problem I have with it. Like, and again, if it's something that if you're in a company meeting and you stand up and go too jigaboo, you're going to get fired. I understand.
From Anthony Incorporated.
But I mean, I'm not an idiot. Like, I know you're right about that. But I mean, whatever the flavor of the day is, offense-wise, is costing people their livelihood or their job. So, basically,
you're defending your industry. Now, let's say
all industries. No, Jim. All industries, not just mine. I'm not just defending mine.
Let's look at it this way, though. Let's say that you came up with a product that nobody wants. And so that company goes out of business because nobody wants to buy it.
Yes.
Does that person have the right to still have a company that's selling something
nobody wants? There's not a right to.
Jim, you just thank you for saying that.
Oh.
If you make a product and nobody wants it, you go out of business. That is what the free market dictates. If you're on, like, say you're on TV or whatever you're on, and nobody watches you because you're not good or you're not entertaining, the free market will dictate that the advertisers will leave because you're not bringing in the viewers to put eyes on their products. The problem is that when people are watching, and somebody who just doesn't like what you're saying goes behind your back and threatens the advertisers and says, because you're supporting statements we don't like by advertising, we will hurt your product. That's not the free market at work.
No.
So
that's special interest groups dictating what
are getting involved that way.
No, that's a special interest group dictating what the majority of the people should or shouldn't hear, and that happens much too much in our business anyway. I'm just saying. I understand what you're saying. Like, you have the right to say it, but other people have the right to criticize it, and there are consequences to everything you say. Those consequences shouldn't be what amounts to mob tactics of blackmail and threatening your job and your family's livelihood because somebody disagrees with what you're saying. It's more like a witch hunt. It's a mob rules with pitchforks and torches instead of how this is supposed to work. Offensive speech is protected. It's offensive. That's why it needs to be protected. Everybody says that. Nice, pleasant speech doesn't need protection.
Right, it's easy.
Yeah, and there shouldn't be this blackmail, and it is blackmail. That you fucking say this, or you will lose your job. Oh, you have the freedom to say it, but watch what we do if you do say it.
Right.
That's not true freedom.
And there should be no
freedom there.
There's no freedom there. And
none.
There's no freedom there.
There should be no penalty.
You're not being thrown into the gulag or anything.
Jim, we've acknowledged that.
It's not about prosecution.
It's not about prosecution.
Well, that's what the Constitution protects.
No, it's persecution. You were to come here to this country that is free from persecution, not prosecution. Persecution for your ideology, for what you want to say, religious freedoms, things like that. Persecution doesn't mean you're fucking going to be arrested. It means you're going to be shunned. You're going to not be able to work. You're going to be an outcast. You're going to have penalties besides just being arrested on what you say, and you're supposed to have the freedom to say those things without persecution.
Well, you have persecution. I mean, Jimmy a few weeks ago going off on Catholic Church. I mean, he was persecuting them. Is that right?
No, I wasn't. I'll tell you why. No, I wasn't. No. You're just playing some out. I wasn't persecuting them. I was offering an opinion about them.
Someone's opinion. There's no consequence to what Jimmy is saying about the Catholic Church. He's not rallying troops to do this, that, or the other thing. He's not trying to take away any rights. He's just offering his rebuttal, his opinion to what their ideology is. There's a difference between doing that and actively going to somebody's job, their advertisers, their bosses, and trying to relieve them of their income.
Yeah. Well, we can agree and disagree on that, but
let's just agree on it.
Yeah, because Jim.
Wow.
I love it.
Just,
why would you want there to be like when you say people have to take responsibility?
I should just blow up balloons with this air that's coming out of my face. I should just blow up balloons all day.
We never change anyone's mind, and they never change ours.
I know.
But there should be no penalty for like you talk about the Constitution. Yeah, if you're yelling fire at a movie theater, what are the provisions or whatever, time, place, and manner?
I yell movie at a firehouse.
Oh,
it's hilarious. They laugh. Slide down the pole.
But, like, we're discussing this. Okay, that's what should happen if you say something or you express yourself artistically in a way. People should discuss it. Do we agree? Do we not agree? How do we feel about it? Okay, it sparks a discussion. But there shouldn't be a penalty for you doing that if you're not, again, causing people to riot or if you're not libeling somebody. There should be no penalty for it. That, to me, is what true freedom of speech is.
Exactly.
What should Lil Wayne's penalty be? Nothing, obviously.
No.
People don't like his stuff, don't buy it.
This might influence people not to buy his new stuff.
Yeah,
but if you're not going to...
More people might buy his shit because of what he did.
If you decide because of that you're not going to buy his stuff, don't then take it to the next level where you have to try to have it removed from iTunes. You're trying to take away any sponsorships or endorsements he might have. That isn't what freedom of speech is about. Not buying his product, voicing your opinion about how you feel, that's freedom.
And that's the main point here. We've seen a lot of great radio shows, get fired over them, following the rules.
Yeah.
They never got the chance to see what happened because they said something controversial on their radio show. That's what we're trying to say here today. If you say something controversial, it could affect your product, which is your radio show. But we saw all these guys not even get that chance. They got fired way before that. Like if they're doing the Asian accents and the Asian jokes, they get fired for that, even though it's not against FCC regulations. How it should play out is you allow the show to continue and then see if it fucking hurt the ratings.
Yeah.
Yes.
But everyone gets so fucking scared, they're like, oh, we got to get rid of that show immediately. Yeah. And that's what we're trying to defend here today. We know the radio world, but now we're also seeing that it's going into a lot of other areas.
Sports, fucking business, just everything.
If someone says something outrageous on ESPN, that guy should not be fucking fired.
No.
But then they should play it out, and now if because he's an asshole and he said some shitty things, obviously less people are watching that particular ESPN show, then so be it. Then that's the free market at work.
Miss Universe or Miss America pageant contestants is asked a question. She answers it honestly. It's racially controversial, but there's nothing wrong with her opinion on it. And then they attack her and want her thrown out of the competition.
Right.
It's like, that's freedom?
That's the mentality.
That's bordering on how the mob extorts people.
They don't allow it to play out. That's the big point here today.
Yeah.
So, Jim, do you think that's a fair penalty? Like, if someone is asked an opinion like that, like Miss America or whoever it was when Perez Hilton asked her that question about gay marriage, and again, she expressed an opinion I don't agree with.
Right.
But then the amount of shit she took for it, or people wanted her penalized for it, like for answering an honest question.
They basically wanted her life to be over.
Crazy.
Nobody has the right to threaten, but they can make their statement and say that they disagree with.
Right.
I agree with all that.
That's what's wrong with that.
But then, throw her out of the contest. Why?
When you have access to something that the average person doesn't, that microphone is very powerful. You're speaking to millions.
No,
don't buy that. I don't buy that.
Same wattage.
It's pretty cheap, actually.
It's cheapy.
Wait, do I get more votes then? I guess not.
I don't more influence, though. You see,
I don't believe that.
More influence than the person on the street.
But Jim, here's the thing: I don't believe in the fact that my influence makes people do anything. I think for myself.
Well, then you're naive. Then
no, I'm not naive. I'm an American who thinks for himself.
And your right to free speech isn't based on how many people you're talking to at any given moment, sir.
And I'm not abusing that and telling people to go out and riot. And by the way, I have not been able to influence your opinion. So why do you think that arrogantly you're so much smarter than every other American listening?
No. I see now you're making assumptions and
don't cause a riot. Have I changed who you are at all, Jim? Seriously,
Jim.
You listen to the show. You know who I am.
Show. And I'm not saying that I'm saying that when I disagree with you, that your connotation that there is no freedom of speech because of you're taking because of the ramifications of what you said. You say something, you got to take responsibility for the actions that could occur from that. And be that you lose sponsors or because of people don't agree. So people have the right to respond to what you say, too.
But I'll say it again, it never gets to that point. Right. There's a buffer in there that is getting rid of all these fucking people before you see what the free market is going to do to that show.
The people that own the company and run the station has a responsibility to other people, and they can't, if they feel that they know that this
they don't know. That's our whole point today. They don't know. They're scared shitless of anything controversial, so their reaction is to get rid of the fucking show immediately.
And then you don't have true freedom of speech.
And that's not freedom of speech whatsoever.
No.
The corporations are dictating this whole fucking thing now. Has nothing to do with freedom of speech anymore.
What can't you say?
Well, we're lucky because we're on satellite radio.
We're very lucky, yeah.
Well, we're talking about we were in the regular radio world and we watched it fucking burn to the ground. It's a shitty business now, regular radio.
What can't you say if you're Rush Limbaugh? I mean, you can say it, and again, you don't go to jail. But man, criticize that woman. Offer a strong opinion about that woman. I forget the woman's name.
Oh, that fucking birth control.
Yes,
right.
Yeah. Offer a strong opinion.
They wanted Rush's job.
They wanted his job.
He survived.
People went for his job because they hate him so much. Right. They're like, got him. We got him.
Right.
So, there you go right there. He happened to escape because he's so big and he's kind of his own boss. But he had to come out and apologize when you know he wasn't sorry.
He was sort of lucky. That was scary for a while there. But he does have a lot of power on the other side, you know?
Sure he does.
But, I mean, as much as we bitch about being on satellite radio or this company, trust me, we're fully aware that we're lucky and we get away with a lot more than these guys on ESPN and these guys on regular radio and, you know.
Well, as I said at the beginning, you know, I'm a veteran. I lived overseas in foreign countries, and trust me, we have much more freedom.
Sure. No one's doubting that.
But this started with the whole Lil Wayne thing. So what do you think should happen to Lil Wayne? Let's say he purposely stomped on the flag.
I personally will vote against him by never buying any album.
Okay. That's what should happen. That's exactly what should happen.
Yeah.
That's right.
There it is.
That to me is fair.
But there's also people, and a lot of people out there that feel strongly that he should never be able to record another song again because of what he did.
Yeah, and would you go out of your way and tell other people, don't buy this? Don't buy this, or would you just exercise your free choice and go, I choose not to buy this?
And let other people exercise theirs.
I don't mind that he pushes other people not to buy it, by the way, because that's, you know.
I don't understand. To tell my circle of friends, though, and say, hey, did you see what that clown did?
You honestly do, but to me, personally, of course you have that right, but personally, I don't have that desire to to encourage other people to purchase or not purchase an artist's work because I don't agree with the statement. I don't care if you do.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to hurt them professionally. But yeah, you telling your friends is one thing, but I'm talking about starting an active boycott.
Which never happens. It never gets to that point. It never gets to a boycott.
Yeah.
People never do anything.
No.
Like down on the boy's cot?
Yeah. What? Lay down, put your head on the pillow. Kiss where the drool is.
Look, we feel strongly that the Atlanta guy should not have been fired.
Yeah, even though it was a very tasteless bit.
It's a tasteless bit.
Yeah.
You know, they should have been more aware that the world just doesn't play anymore. But
I haven't heard Chipper's view on this whole thing.
All right.
What's that?
I haven't heard Chipper's view on fiddling.
I believe that in freedom is like I yell fire in a movie theater all the time, and they go, "What are you talking about?" I go, "I'm firing somebody because I'm the boss."
Well, there you go.
Jesus.
All right, boys. Good.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim.
Good discussion. Thank you, sir.
Very nice.
See, that's
I feel great that we changed his mind completely on that.
But I mean, that's the thing. That's why I don't believe this whole "we have more influence" thing. Yeah. I just think for myself, and I give all the audience the credit for thinking for themselves.
Yeah, think for yourself.
Jim's the same guy he was before he called.
We're watching this happen with Facebook postings and tweets. So it is hitting the average Joe. It really is.
People are.
You got employers now that are looking at your fucking Facebook pages and your Twitter accounts, and they're making some strong opinions about you and decisions on your livelihood.
They want your passwords too. A lot of these companies that are hiring you, you have to sign when you get hired that yes, here's my password for my Facebook, my Twitter, and they have access to that and can look at your private messages and everything else. They want to know.
And if you have a strong opinion on something, that shouldn't affect your fucking job.
Absolutely should not. Absolutely.
Unless that opinion has something to do with what you do for a living, maybe. But they don't even look at it's not even close to that.
Especially things like opinion. Opinion is so it's given too much fucking power in this country where you voice your opinion and all of a sudden people think it's this new law that's been laid out and they must adhere to it and it's affecting them. It's like, no, this is my belief. I am completely allowed to spew my fucking belief without having this threat over my head.
We're experts at radio on what has happened to radio fucking shows.
Yes.
And there is a point in there that's really important. It never gets to the point where you see what the controversy is going to do to the radio show.
It's never like, well, we kept him on a year after he said that, and boy, we're broke. Look what happened. Right. It never happened.
It doesn't even come close to that. They're like, fire everybody, instead of saying, well, we hired this edgy show. They did something edgy. They didn't break any FCC regulations, but, you know, they got to go.
How's Cowhead doing? Didn't he say something?
He's sort of fine. He's surviving.
And he survived.
And that's a company that said, you know what, we're going to
stick by our guy.
And we were wrong about him, by the way, because we said fired, so fired.
So fired.
But he's working for a company that said, look, we'll see what happens, you know? All right, so let's say the Cowhead thing was over the retard picture, or I forgot exactly, right? So now he survived that, and now, you know, the free market fucking society is going to decide if they want to continue listening to that type of radio show.
And I guess they are.
He at least gets that chance.
Right.
Most radio shows do not get that chance.
He didn't heard you say retard, and he got right on mic. What happened? It's not nice. I know.
He didn't lose any sponsors or anything.
No.
Probably it wasn't said on air and whatever, but whatever. He should stay. He didn't do anything. It's like...
Yeah, but in this world we live in, I'm surprised that he didn't lose sponsors and all that. Good for him.
Good. That's a good radio company who's stuck with a talented guy, and that's how it should be. He does a good job for them. And you know what? If these Atlanta guys, let's just say that they did, hey, you know what we did was fucking brutal. Once in a while, if you say you're sorry, if you mean it, I don't say no one should ever apologize if they feel it. If the company goes like, look, this is kind of disastrous what you said. It's terrible. And if they think about it and go, yeah, that was a little rough, that one line,
Can I stop you for a second? What's disastrous about it in the end?
Meaning if they say like...
They hurt some families, you know, because they're dealing with that, and that sucks. But what was really disastrous about it?
They may feel that was, like, they may... Sometimes you say something. As a person, I've said things I regretted, like, that was too harsh. You know, I'm a guy like everybody else. So maybe you feel like you say something like, fuck, that line about smothering was a little rough. We were just doing it.
All right, I understand that, but was it disastrous for the masses?
No, but I'm saying they may feel, maybe disastrous wasn't the right word. Maybe they feel it was, that was one we shouldn't have said.
If they didn't get in trouble, I'm certain when they fucking left the show that day and went out on the street, they probably went like, that was rough. Because I've done the same thing here. Sure. You pile on when you're here. It's like a feeding frenzy.
And then you see that goddamn sun, and you're like,
Yeah, you walk out that door, and you're like, oh, God, I'm an awful person.
I think Bill Burr said it right.
Yeah, Bill Burr.
Perfectly one day.
Yeah.
You feel like shit as soon as you leave and realize it's a beautiful sunny day. Like, what did I do up there?
I've walked out with Bill, and literally the door opens, we walk out, it closes, he runs his hand through his hair, and he looks at me, he goes, Jesus, what the fuck was I saying? What an asshole.
Yeah,
and I'm just laughing like, yeah, I hear you.
Because we're heading toward a society where you're not going to, we've said it a million times, no one's going to give their opinion. No. There's too much risk.
Yeah.
too much risk.
Training each other to lie.
Right.
Yeah.
The opinions are there. People just bury them.
You're already
Exactly.
seeing
That's just it. It's this big cover-up. It's not, no one's fixing anything. No one's changing anyone's opinions, but we put this big cover over it, hoping that if we don't see it, that people aren't feeling that way or thinking those things. The truth of the matter is, they are. And there's no amount of fucking putting covers on it that's going to stop it.
And it all goes back to nappy-headed hoe. When I saw radio shows not supporting IMUS, when I saw radio shows not supporting IMUS, you know, you don't have to be happy about what he said, but you got to support his right to say it. I was amazed. I'm like, you idiots, that's going to affect what you do every day on your radio show.
You're a broadcaster, you dummy. How the fuck are you giving this guy shit and saying he should be fired? You're in the same business, and the same exact thing could happen to you, whether you think so or not. It might not be saying something like nappy-headed hoe, but it could be saying something else about a whole other topic that's going to get you in trouble.
It should have been allowed to play out, but that fucking asshole Al Sharpton and the rest of them, it should have played out. What happened?
Al Charlatan.
Right.
Remember when he used to call him that?
What happens to an IMUS after he says nappy-headed hoe? He should have been able to continue on MSNBC. Where was he at the time? NBC? I forget now.
I think it was on...
The Fan. The Fan, right? Yeah, he was on The Fan.
It was on The Fan.
And it should have been allowed to play out. And then his listeners should have been able to decide if they wanted to continue to listen to the guy that said nappy-headed hoe. Period.
Yeah, I mean,
our point, it never gets to that. They fire you immediately.
He had to dress up like an old woman to get another job.
And it turns out he did just fine. No one gave a shit in the end.
Yeah. He came back, and there's no problem.
None.
Amazing. Fucking assholes.
Somebody did raise a good point, though, on Twitter, which is rare.
Oh.
He says, you have changed how people feel with your freedom of speech. Just look at all the straight men you've turned into tranny lovers.
Valid point.
Excellent point.
All right, fair enough.
I just personally think for myself the way I just don't want anybody to get in trouble for what they say.
Exactly.
And I kind of expect the same courtesy. It's like, it's real simple.
Right.
I don't need to create a reason why my opinion is more valid than yours. You should be able to say what you want.
But people get confused. If they don't like what somebody said, then they're like, oh, get rid of that fucking guy.
And people are ignorant as to what their rights are in this country, too.
Right.
They honestly think all of their rights are these rights to their own convenience and comfortability, which is absolutely untrue. The basic reason for these rights is so people can be uncomfortable and not come after you because of your
You have the right to be offended.
Yes, but people absolutely think if you offend them that you've committed some type of crime, sometimes even legally, or some type of you're infringing on their right. But they don't have a right to not be offended.
And then if you support what Lil Wayne did, they think, oh, you're for people stomping on the... No, I fucking hate what he did. But you got to support his right to do that.
Yeah.
It really is as simple as that in America.
Desecration of the flag has been protected many times. It's gone before the courts, and it's I know. It's just a protected thing.
It's a fucking piece of cloth.
You're able to do that. You're allowed to do it. Like I said, it's hacky.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you want to voice your discontent with the country, I think there's better ways to say it than burning a flag or stepping on a flag.
Let's go to Andy in Jersey. Andy.
Andy,
listen, I think where it comes down to is, a lot of people who get fired who are employees, they sign up knowing what the ethics of the company are. So you get a guy who basically, they tell you that, you're going to respect others, do whatever, and if you're in the public area, and then you say something off color or derogatory to someone, the company has the right to fire you.
Yeah,
but we're not...
You're right.
Legally, you're right, yes. We know that legally, yeah.
Yeah, you can't walk around and be an asshole at work. But we're talking about now you do your job perfectly, you're great at your job, then you go home and you have a strong opinion about maybe some race issue and you write something on Facebook, next thing you know the company sees that and goes, oh, we can't have this guy. Even though it had nothing to do with the job you're doing.
All right, I'm with you on that. I thought if you're going down the road with the guy who had made the ass call on his phone, and he ends up talking about the guy just delivered pizza to and gets fired, I think that's fireable,
that's
dude.
Work-related.
That's fireable.
Yeah, we're not.
He said that to the guy's answering machine, a customer's answering machine.
We're not unreasonable. We get it to a point.
We understand also that the workplace is not a fucking democracy.
Right,
when you're walking around the halls at work, you can't just start, get on a soapbox and start bad-mouthing the boss. You're going to get your ass thrown out of there.
You got to present yourself appropriately.
Yeah.
We get it. We're not talking about that shit.
I'm with you then, boys.
All right. Okay. Thank you, brother.
And you know what? The company can make up rules and regulations as to how you're supposed to act at the work in the workplace, and you have to adhere to those regardless of your constitutional.
Well, that's what we signed up for a long time ago. It's like, okay, do whatever you want. Here's the FCC regulations. I forgot how many rules there were. Study this shit. And that's it. That's all. There was a time that's all you had to worry about.
Yeah.
You could do all the Asian fucking accents you want. You could do your Lou Gehrig disease jokes all the fuck you want, as long as you follow those particular FCC rules. And you fast forward a bunch of years, and wow, it's a completely different fucking ballgame.
Everyone's very sensitive.
You don't even know what you're going to get fired for.
It changes.
Back in the day, you knew what you were going to get fired for. If you said fuck on the air, there's a good chance, unless you had really good ratings, they were going to fire you.
Yeah.
We could have said something today. We don't even know that's going to get us fired. We have no fucking idea.
Yeah, it changes. Whoever's got the loudest voice at the moment, that's all it is.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we are training each other to lie. Like Anthony Weiner and all these politicians, why do they lie? People deserve what you get. And this is why. You're right. That guy called up the companies that make you sign these things. That's disgusting that you have to give your Facebook password.
Yeah.
But if companies knew that the country as a whole would never stand for that type of bullshit, companies wouldn't do it. But they do it because they know they can. And why can they? Because nobody defends each other.
That's with everything. And the government itself does that to people. Yeah, and we don't defend each other.
And the guy requesting your password, he's a complete asshole when he's not working.
Oh, please.
Sure.
He's not better than the employees.
Fucking putting on dresses and fucking...
whatever the fuck he's in.
Parading around the neighborhood.
Coming to my house.
Yes.
But all the people who cry about the flag burning and the flag stomping... defend what the flag is supposed to stand for, not the dopey symbolism.
Yeah.
And really, fight for someone's right to say something like that you don't like. And it sounds corny, but we do it all the time. I didn't fucking like half the things that we've defended speech-wise.
No. You should get a list. I'll tell you the ones I fucking hated.
I want to fight for my right to party.
Party.
Exactly. Fighting for the right.
Is there anybody that disagrees with us on the phone? I mean, I'm sure there are.
Oh, boy.
That's fine, too, I guess. I mean...
we'll give them a little lesson. Who wants a lesson?
Oh, yeah. Give you a fucking lesson.
Oh, sure, why don't you put someone through for a life lesson?
Yeah. Give them a life lesson.
Who wants some?
Yeah. Come on, Opster, put through someone for a life lesson.
Come and get it. All right, I'll just read the phone calls. I like just reading them sometimes. You can do whatever you want to do. That's what the country's about.
Oh, Paul from Illinois is...
All right, we'll get to it.
That's going to be
Free
a problem.
speech is a lot deeper than what you're making it.
What?
Want to talk to Jimmy about the influence they have with the mic.
Mike?
Jimmy is wrong. It's not just a piece of cloth. People die and fight for it.
No, but they don't. They fight for what's behind it.
Right.
They fight for what it means.
The principles of the flag.
They fight for what it means.
Yeah. And what it means, we the country don't respect.
Yeah, we don't even make our flags in America.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Are they really not made in America?
No.
There are some that are. And
there's some companies that have popped up because they're like, what the fuck? Yeah. We don't even make American flags in this country. But in most cases, no. You'll see made in Taiwan, made in China.
To the guy saying that, like, I know...
I'll talk to him.
Okay, hello, sir?
Paul.
Yes?
Hi, Paul.
Hey, buddy.
Hello, Jimmy.
Can I say, like,
it's a different day.
Can I say I know what you mean, buddy? Like there's it's a terrible example, but Stephen King wrote a book called Pet Sematary. I mean Salem's Lot, and there's a great scene in there where the priest and the vampire are facing off, and the priest is holding the cross, and it's glowing strong, and the vampire says to him, "Throw the cross away, and face me, my faith against your faith." And the priest won't do it, and of course the cross fades away, and the vampire crunches it and throws it and said, "You've forgotten the tenets of your own religion. It's not the cross. That's just wood or plastic. It's the faith behind it. That's what, had you thrown the cross away, you would have beaten me." And again, that's a terrible example. But the flag's an important symbol, but people are not honoring what it's supposed to stand for, and that's what's driving me crazy. And that's why I'm saying it's a piece of cloth, because people are not fighting for each other's rights in daily life to say unpopular things, or to, you know, we don't even want gay people to get married half, but like, we have this thing where we protect only ourselves and we don't give a fuck about the next guy. But if you burn a flag, we cry about how you're violating everyone's patriotism.
Yeah. Well, I don't want the queers getting married either, but that's a different story.
Oh, Paul.
So, what I was going to say was,
God.
bullets flying at you, and it's exactly, you know, you run up the hill and you're shooting the bullets that are coming at you. It's a different story. If you were to go down to the Fort McKinley, like I did last year, the 200-year anniversary of the War of 1812, and Francis Scott Key, you know, wrote the Star-Spangled Banner down there, you would realize that, okay, yeah, this is more than just a piece of cloth. At least, you know, as far as, you know, in the moment, yeah, I was served in the military. I had bullets shot at me, and standing at Fort McKinley where the Star-Spangled Banner was written, I really felt like, okay, this is more than that. That's all I wanted to say.
No, but I don't even disagree with that, Paul. Saying it's a piece of cloth is not the way I view the flag as a whole.
Right.
I'm talking about when the outrage over something like this happens, there's so many parts that the flag is supposed to represent that the fucking public doesn't give a shit about, or that people constantly allow what the flag is supposed to stand for to be destroyed or trampled or ignored. But then when this happens, they come out of the woodwork and cry patriotism.
Isn't it Fort McHenry?
Oh, I understand that, but also way back, as Anthony likes to say, back in the day, one of the hippie people back in the 70s ran out in the center field when the Dodgers were playing, and Rick Monday came out there and tackled him because the guy was trying to burn the flag.
Sure.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. I would have tackled that guy and beat the crap out of him.
You know what? And I probably would have been happy you did it.
Yeah, of course.
I probably would have been happy you did it, because the guy is a douchebag. And I think exercising your right that's not exercising your right if you run onto a baseball field with lighter fluid.
No, not really.
You know what I mean? That's there's a lot of reasons that's wrong to do. It's not exercising. I'm for gay marriage. I can't run across the outfield of Yankee Stadium with a sign with two men kissing and write Yahoo goody on it.
Yippee.
You know?
One more thing. Sure. I want to say, Opie, the past 2 months, the show has been awesome, and I have to give you credit as well as Jimmy and Anthony. The show's been fantastic. I can't say enough about it.
All right, thank you.
We're trying.
And it's McHenry, not McKinley. You sound silly when you say Fort McKinley.
Thank you, sir.
You sound silly when you say Fort McKinley.
All right. Thank you, sir.
He's nervous. Bye, Paul.
That's an interesting point. So, yeah, the guy running on the field to burn the flag. Then I mean, I think there is a little gray area there, too, because then you're like, yeah, fucking tackle that guy and beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
But it goes against everything we just said. And I got to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
So it feels like there's some wiggle room in a weird, you know what I'm trying to say?
If you're in that situation where security can tune you up just for being there,
right,
it might give you an extra little horn twisting for having the flag.
But as much as we're like saying, you know, he has the right to do that, we're also saying, yeah, beat the shit out. You know what? We have to be fair and say that we agree with that.
Yeah, but I'd want him to have the shit beat out of me even if he had like the fucking old Soviet flag.
Yeah.
I just like seeing people get the shit beat out of them when they run out on the field.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing funnier than watching the security chase him and fucking grab him.
But he got us in a corner there because, you know, that sort of goes against what we've been saying here for the last hour.
But look at how awful the Westboro Baptist Church are. And they're doing it totally legally. Like, they are the most hated group in the country. And I hate them.
But I would love to see them run over.
I would love to see them.
So what is that about?
Killed, because it doesn't mean that we have to like somebody. They're hateable.
You can have strong emotions to want to see them have horrible things happen to them.
I literally hope they're killed in a car accident. I hope every one of them is in that van, and to no one's fault but God's, the tires blow out, and they're trapped, and they burn alive.
Oh, God, that would be terrible.
All of them.
Imagine that.
And we have it on video that we can laugh and jerk off to.
But they have the right to protest.
They absolutely do.
So the guy has the right to fucking run on the field, even though it's illegal.
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't have the right to run on the field.
No, they actually get
he doesn't have the right.
No.
You're right. But what he's doing on the field, he has the right to do, right?
If it wasn't on the field.
Yeah.
He technically doesn't have the right to run across the field and hold the flag up and honor it either.
Right.
Do anything,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the right to do that.
So
it's private property.
He got a good beating.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could want to see them burn alive like that, but you can't go out there with fucking spike strips, gasoline, and a flare.
Right. Sure.
And, you know, make
I
it
wouldn't
happen.
want anybody to hurt them, because as much as they're hateable and they're just unreasonable and they're pigs, there's something about them that's fantastic for who we are as a country.
Right. It's a great gauge to see how this country is supposed to work. I mean, you know, given any other country, if they were in there, you'd never see them again.
No.
There's plenty of countries where you would never see them again.
Look, we got a guy who lost his leg in Afghanistan. Agrees with Jimmy. That's not what we're fighting for. It's a piece of cloth.
Hello, sir.
You want to talk to him?
Sure.
Yo, Pete.
Hey,
buddy.
What's up, guys? How are you?
Hi, Pete.
Thanks for your service.
So,
Thank you for your service.
You're welcome. And I'm probably not many guys would agree with how I feel right now, but I agree with Jimmy, because what are we fighting for now? We're not fighting for that flag anymore. We're fighting for Muslims to have better lives in their countries. We're not fighting for Americans anymore. We're fighting to keep peace everywhere else. And what we created, that cloth that we created, means nothing anymore to a lot of Americans, because of that fact that we have to be the cleanup crew for every other goddamn third world country.
It is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
I can't stand that.
That's what gets me. And Jimmy, you know what? I want to start a flag company made in the USA, because you know that is exactly that example itself is a huge statement that is powerful. And if you say to anybody, you know, this flag, this American flag that we cherish and we fight over and we yell at people about, is made in another country because we're fucking morons. That answers every stupid question that has ever been asked to.
A lot of Taiwan flags out there.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just how I feel, and I don't hate the country. I don't. You know, I fought. I paid my. You know, I got hurt. It's opened my eyes up to a lot of things, but this flag thing and what it's fighting for, it's media-driven bullshit, and it's just sad because there's too many young kids coming back, not even mangled, just brain dead.
Fucked up, yeah, it's amazing. Aren't you,
know,
dude? Aren't you fighting for the like your buddy next to you pretty much when you're in those situations? That's what I hear from a lot of the veterans. Is like, you know, they're not thinking about the flag, the country, the mission. It's like me and the fucking buddies that are next to me. Those are the guys that you're fighting for.
100%, and that's the kid that's on trial that whacked out about 18 people, the families and kids. He was mentally unstable, man. And there's about 60% of us out there and here that are living this life, and it's like I don't know. I'm not on any drugs or anything, but I wish I was. You know, it's just a tough thing to deal with. It's just a tough thing to deal with.
People like covering that up too. You saw it after Vietnam. There was a lot of people with mental problems after that, and it kind of caught up with the country in the 70s and 80s and stuff. I think you're going to see a lot more of that too. I don't think the help is out there for a lot of these guys.
What did they do? What did they do back in the day? I remember it's almost like one flew over the cuckoo's nest. What are we going to do? Throw these guys, you know, put electrodes on their brain? It's not going to work. Or fill them up with all these drugs that all these pharmaceutical companies want to test on us that are rats, you know?
Yeah. Right.
So it's a tough situation, but you make the best of it. And I think about that one scene, and you got to laugh about things in life. I think about that one scene where Martini wants a cigarette. I want my cigarette, Martini.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you just think about the fucking craziness that how they used to treat guys like us when we got back from Vietnam.
No, it was Mr. Cheswick.
Was that Cheswick?
Cheswick.
With the cigarette?
It was Chezzy.
What a great guy. What a great movie. But just wanted to throw it out there, Jimmy. I love your work.
Thank you, buddy.
Great. And I love that you guys are now competing for podcasts. You guys are just, I love it. Let's jump into the podcast world. I love it.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, brother. Thank you.
And I want to clarify too. Like, I don't look at the flag as only a piece of cloth. I don't think it has no meaning. I don't mean that. I understand what it symbolizes, and I do understand it's an important symbol.
Yeah.
But my problem is when the outrage occurs, it's like the people who are outraged, where the fuck you weren't fighting or at least speaking up and defending what it's supposed to defend. I'm not talking about this guy, of course, who's fucking lost a leg. I mean the average American who's weighing in.
Yeah. The symbolism becomes more important than the substance of what it's supposed to be.
They don't give a shit if people are in trouble for saying unpopular things. But boy, you stop the symbol and they get upset.
Right. There you go. We should take a break.
Alrighty.
It's like my new book. Oh. Craziness just gets crazier.
Okay.
You don't like my book title?
I don't think I'll be buying that one.
No. I like boats down there.
Yeah, well, boats, down there.
Oh,
down there.
I know it's a dot,
Semicolon.
dot, dot.